Hello, this is the International News of Lisa Luciardin. I want to say thank you so much for taking this message. This is an emergency. I saw a representative that he called himself a man, but he is not a man of understanding or thinking. He was interviewed, and you can see it on my site. He called himself a man of the Islam belief, and he says that there's the Islam, the Muslim of the jihad, and the Muslim of the world. And then he said that they want to take over UK because there's no sanctity in the world, in UK and the world. There's no sanctity like Shari law. Shari law does not have sanctity. Number one, the word everyone's using is pedophile. They allow to marry a child that's 6 and 8 years old. And they oppress women, and they do bigamy. They have more than one woman married that they can marry. Those are oppression women. In places that are not jihad, they don't allow them to be an individual. And he's saying sanctity to bring Shari law. Shari law is an oppressor. 86% of refugees are Muslim. That means that they oppress. They're not sanctity. Sanctity is putting the pure holiness in protecting the person. And you know what? UK is a solidarity of sanctity. That's why they let those people in to help them. He has it backwards. He's wrong. It's rhetoric. What he's saying is wrong. And then also, so I'll repeat, 86% of the refugees are Muslim, and they get social services. So how could that be sanctity? How could Muslims be sanctity when they don't take care of their own people? And there's 57, are you listening? 57 Muslim countries. They're not taking in their own people because they want us to take care of their people, because there's a lie. There's a deception, deceit, and a lie. And even in the Shari law in the Quran, it says to lie and to cheat and to kill and steal the non-Muslim. There's a lie that they want to take over all the countries. So we're not considering jihad. As he said, there's two separate Muslim jihad, Muslim of the world, but it could never be separated. So again, he's wrong by fact. Hence, because it could never be separated. Just like when they come to protest in UK and America and threaten that they're going to kill us and to take over everything and try to take over everything by using our money and our funds. That shows that the violence, the jihad violence, that they want to kill all people that are non-Muslim and still carry on their laws that's not accepted in our culture. So it could never be separated. He's wrong. Because they were doing protesting, and that's violence of jihad, said that they're going to take over our nation. And what are your orders? What are your orders? And they're praying in the streets. And that's trespassing on the streets and on the land, but mostly psychological warfare. And they use our money, our taxes, millions and millions of dollars, billions. Did you see that for Somalia? Those are Muslims, correct? That's in every state that there's problems. We have to be checked. And the Muslim countries, the Muslim countries do not take care of their people because they said they don't want these Muslims that are part of violence, that are lower socioeconomical level, that are controlled by the jihad, by the brotherhood. He has it wrong. And Zoran should never be allowed to bring that culture inside our nation and to pray and talk about about Muslim. He brings that in his church, and that's why they have mosques. And just like Bridget said, Bridget said, because she's from that area, even though I've been talking about this before in regards to saving all our countries for many years in 2011, 2016, about saving all our Judeo-Christian countries, our countries, not even Judeo-Christian, even though that's what I believe first, but countries that want freedom, that want truth, that take care of their children and family. But he was allowed to have an environment that was like like was very, very terrible. That is not of our America, the constitutional rights of our America that were based on Judeo-Christian nation. But we want to still deliver democracy and liberty and truth by the basis of not oppressing. And that's what the man says that UK oppresses. No, UK doesn't oppress. They oppress us because they take the monies of UK and America and across the world in trying to change it and bring havoc for war, as I told you. War, when they want to take over war, first they pit the people against each other, then they tell truth a lie, lie a truth, and then they make a big, big problem. And that's what Zoran is doing. He pits the people against each other because he's bringing his it's not even a religion, it's a folklore of death. And people say it's the Antichrist, the Muslims that are extremists, not the Muslims in Saudi Arabia and Dubai that hold up justice and democracy. That's why they don't want the people in their country, because they know that they don't want to deal with extremists. That's one of the reasons. So they pit the people against each other, and that's what they're doing. And he should never be allowed to preach his folklore of Muslim ideas in a national and federal state building, in a community building. They could do that in the church. It should never be done, never, because we are not a Muslim country. This is why all the people that protested need to go back. They need to be incarcerated or go back. That cannot be. This is what's going to happen. The Islamic regime, if you allow these Islamic regime to take over in your country over a period of time, our Muslim ideas, our Shari law, they'll eventually become controlled by the leaders that are part of the Islamic regime. That's what they did in Iran. There's some many Muslims, but they were taken over by the Islamic regime. And then they were controlled, and they had a Holocaust, Iran, of their own people. This is relative. Please listen, this is relative what they're doing now in the United States and across Europe. They're trying to make a Holocaust, the Muslim countries, Muslims that are extremists, a Holocaust of the traditions of the original countries' ideas and virtues and beliefs as countries that are Judeo-Christian, or countries that want freedom, truth, and liberty. And the man talked about freedom, truth, and liberty, saying that we didn't deliver that. Yes, we did. We gave a pillow to of all these refugees. 86% of refugees across the world, to give a place to live out of the love and heart, even if some of them were used in trafficking. But many of the ones that are trafficked, 1 out of every 3 or every 4 are hooked up with their own people that do it. That's what they did to Somalia. When President Trump found all that corruption and fraud, I told him to look at every state. You're going to find much fraud, much crime. And that's like the social services. In social services that are trafficking the children, many of those social services, the social workers are first or second generation refugees are people from other countries. They're not Americans. Most of them. They're first or second generation, or they're immigrants that became citizens that are doing the trafficking of those children across America. And they also do it in Europe. Now, this has to be done. We have to save our countries, just like that lady said. Texas will never succumb or acquiesce to the Muslim. Texas will always be covered with God's truth and freedom and democracy. And don't mess with the American women. They're the most powerful women in the world because they're from all the countries, whether it's Italy, whether it's Saudi Arabia, whether it's Japan, China, Australia, Canada, Europe. Any of those lands, those women crossed those lands in the beginning. Switzerland, Germany, and came over, and they developed a new land. They're powerful women, American women, because they have the power and strength and the spirit of life that God gave them to have a land of freedom, a land of truth, a land of justice, a land of living waters. And that's what America is, and also Europe. And the women, too, in Europe are the most powerful women. They gave their heart and life for the refugee. And we could never forget that God has a covenant with you. Just like Reagan said, we cannot have evil. We have to have freedom and justice. And our country is based on the foundation of biblical principles. As George Washington said, no nation can live without biblical principles. And what is that? Truth. Freedom. Justice. Not rhetoric. Our countries are covered with the blood of the Lamb. Just like Reagan would say, go pray. We are believers of Jesus Christ. He has said that. Reagan said that. And so did George Washington, our first president. So we're not preaching. We are telling the foundation of our nations, of the principles of love without measure, but with protection, without abuse, with peace, without lying, with joy, without sadness, with life, without death, with truth, without secrecy. And then you will have the light in the hearts of the people so the children can dance and sing and learn and smile and be happy and strong and have peace. Thank you. This is Lisa Lucia Arden. Thank you. God bless you.